How does that position us for later this month's nvidia event? Since we own Nvidia, it's a challenging one. We have those three since it's one of our larger positions, along with Apple and Meta. However, I believe it will rely on the setup used for that print. There is an issue if all analysts are optimistic and believe that the statistics will continue to rise as a result of all this investment. How logical they become now will determine some of this. The good news is that because of delays in their newest microprocessor, Blackwell, some analysts have pushed out statistics over the past few days. Some are considering what they have discussed and what we have observed with some of the hyperscalers. Before generative AI and ChatGPT were introduced in the first half of 2022, a corporation said, "Well, the biggest risk is underinvestigated." I hear this every time. It goes without saying that investors don't want to ruin a fantastic tale. With generative AI, Meta's stock has performed admirably, although large corporations like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft do experience periods of ingestion. It was rather obvious that they were spending a lot of money, but all of the projected figures decreased because the revenues weren't always present. Eventually, they will remark, "You know what? We must absorb a portion of this expenditure." What do you think about Alphabet in particular? The new Pixel 9 phones, Google's first AI-powered Android update, and this Google event were all announced. Although I am aware that hardware is not usually what drives Alphabet stock, artificial intelligence had a significant role in today's messaging and talking points. Morgan, you must ask yourself this straightforward question. Do you believe that Google's more than 90% search market share will be impacted by all of the money being spent on AI by companies like Microsoft and OpenAI? From a longer-term standpoint, Google has a problem if your response is yes. I found it concerning that they were having issues with their YouTube company, but Meta was doing perfectly well. Google doesn't appeal to me. To be completely honest, we are shorting it. I enjoy the comparison with Meta, where Meta uses AI to suggest films for you to watch and to display intriguing advertisements. There were no issues at all for them. In that regard, I believe that pair to be fairly nice. Does it make sense to invest in an additional 493 stocks in the S&P 500 in light of the entire discussion we are having? Is it possible to argue that the Magnificent Seven's growth is slowing down and that diversification is necessary? Yes, we'd started getting involved in a lot of different places that week after we had that good sell-off on Monday. We have a telecom services company, a basket of consumer essential stocks, and brands in financial services. These are names that stand to gain if rates begin to decline in any way. Since the end of 2022, when we learned about OpenAI and ChatGPT, we have been immersed in a Magnificent Seven news cycle, and the other 493 stocks have essentially been forgotten. If we didn't receive 3 rate cuts, I would be shocked. Naturally, the market would be 2 before the year ended. Some stock kinds will gain from that. What's causing such pricing reductions? Because you have to deal with the softening of the economy, whether it's from online travel agencies, hotels, airlines, or home improvement companies. We keep hearing about consumers slowing down this morning. This is what you're hearing everywhere. Therefore, you should consider areas where rate reductions could be advantageous. I believe you're absolutely correct. Take a look at the other 493. Get your Nvidia keychain quickly for less than $10. We are offering a huge discount exclusively to the first 100 orders. Investors' concerns about the return on investment for AI spending have caused Nvidia's shares to drop by about 6%. The stock has dropped almost 30% from its peak. This is our trade with Boris Schlossberg, the managing director of FX strategy at BK Asset Management and a contributor to CNBC. Boris, so Nvidia may suffer if customers reduce their demand for significant AI investments. I'm not sure what's going on with Blackwell chips, but the price action alone is getting everyone's attention. Here, what are you doing with the stock? It's like PTSD for those of us who made it through the dot-com boom. Is this another Cisco? Not in my opinion. AI still has a lot of opportunities, in my opinion. Nvidia will undoubtedly gain the most from it. The third quarter will see the start of shipping for the Blackwell chips, which are still in great demand. It's perhaps one of the more intriguing options at the moment, considering all the upheaval and the correction they've already seen from the highs. In fact, I would sell options against it and wait for it to come to me because of the volatility. For instance, you can purchase the stock 13% below its current price if you have a put that expires this week at 87 and it gives you $1. I believe that Nvidia will continue to be a very solid investment in the long run. Therefore, if I were to buy now, I would sell puts and wait for the stock to come to me. Over the past 3 trading days, the Magnificent Seven's poorest performers, Nvidia, Tesla, and Amazon, have all seen declines of 11% to 13%. Since the commencement of the most recent selling fight last Thursday, only Meta has been positive. Ray Wang, principal analyst at Constellation Research, joins us now to share his observations about the tech industry. Ray, good morning once more. During the pullback, would you purchase everything or nothing? In order to determine whether we were truly in full panic mode or whether we would actually return, I was going to wait to see what was happening with some other data points. The fact that we experienced a pullback in the morning, and that people were regaining consciousness and realizing that a single data point wouldn't cause everyone to overcorrect was encouraging. However, this is a good time to investigate this. In my opinion, a few stocks are genuinely doing well in the AI space, and Nvidia will undoubtedly continue to be present. To find out their forecast for the third quarter, we will have to wait until August 28th. More significantly, though, they will still be among the winners. You brought up Amazon. In the long run, that one will be interesting to monitor, because I would be concerned about Amazon if the retail industry did decline and consumer spending did decline. However, there are a few intriguing aspects. For instance, Uber claimed yesterday that algorithmic advancements, enhanced ride batching, and better price matching had all increased its capacity to turn a profit. Meta has done a terrific job with their open models because they can obtain additional data to enhance their exponential efficiency and precision targeting for ad growth. Nvidia is a solid company based on what you said, and Meta is a wonderful stock in that aspect. Ray, did you simply dismiss it during times like these when it can be based on a carry trade or currency fluctuations? Do you worry about the fact that the multiple is kind of rich, and depending on what happens in the macro world, everything could be marked down? Or do you concentrate on what you know about each company separately? How would you respond to that? Do you only seek out chances to engage in your favorite activities? Opportunities to profit from the AI revolution are the main focus at the moment. You need to determine which businesses will profit from AI. An easy example would be Adobe's success with AI software, Microsoft's success with its apps, Oracle's outstanding performance, Palantir's involvement in the AI sector, and C3's involvement in the space. Who has the revenue growth is what we want to see. The forecast is always the deciding factor. But even though the macro was a larger problem, it is about individual equities. The previously described concept of debt is accurate. China is facing severe challenges. They will be in a difficult situation due to the debt bubble and slower population growth. In fact, they will resemble Japan in 20 years. MNC's failure led to Japan's defeat. Therefore, a U.S. jobs figure that is only one piece of information will not depress the U.S. market. However, yesterday's sentiment was really negative. Get your Nvidia keychain quickly for less than $10. We're only offering the first 100 orders a huge discount. The substance is unaltered despite the grammatical corrections, which included inserting punctuation, changing the verb tense, repairing sentence breaks, and making the text easier to read.